Hello and welcome to another episode of Gumzo Cybersecurity Podcast. The last time we talked about cybersecurity and teams, we ended the discussion at the operations of an office or an institution that houses analysts and individuals that are responsible for maintaining a security posture for prevention, detection, and remediation. So that is a SOC or a Security Operations Center. And we said whether big or small, SOCs or Security Operations Centers will share key functions. And in a scenario where you have a tired kind of uh, SOC, where you could probably have tier one SOC analysts who are doing triage, tier two analysts who are doing investigations, and finally tier three who are doing threat hunting. There's a component in which they base their context as much as possible, all all the way from the guys who are doing the junior analysts who are doing triage. And this is where, I mean, you need to differentiate between noise and a proper signal. Uh, and a proper signal could be a really valid indicator of compromise or an IOC. So therefore, there there's a lot of tooling that has come in of late that is trying to automate the work of triage. So we could talk of tools such as CM or security uh, information and security information and events management solutions. You could talk of EDRs. You could endpoints detection and response. You could talk of XDRs that are really trying to bring about all kinds of trying to build a profile of a threat, trying to automate the process of uh, trying to detect and respond. So, to that end, today I want us to speak about an element of triage, investigation, and threat hunting that could be very vital for a blue team, and that is a log or a set of logs in this particular case. Ladies and gentlemen, allow us to speak about the importance of maintaining, classifying, organizing logs, and where we could basically get the logs we are saying. This could be uh, part of our context in with regards to an issue, an event, something that we feel needs further investigation. Yeah. So let's speak about logs. Welcome. And probably I think we could make this a series where we talk about the importance of logs and where do we get all these logs, whether it's on a PC, whether it's on a Linux machine, whether it's on a Mac uh, machine. So without further ado, welcome and enjoy. Logs are the footprint of every digital activity, serving as the chronological. So let us take it from the top. Now, logs are the footprint of every digital activity. They serve as a chronological record of events within a system, a network, or an application. And I would want to give you a story of one of the application I was handling the other day, and I was adding a digital signature feature, which was a bit complex because it involved encryption of a file, signing that file, setting it to to a signing gateway, and waiting for that response, processing it, decrypting it, and then showing a preview to the user. So you can imagine all that scenario, and generally the language that I was using, the server-side language, was PHP. I had other dependencies as a result of trying to make this feature uh, work quite fast with regards to background processes of signing and encryption. Uh, I had to use a Java executable. So you can imagine the dependencies that Java will come with. Java will have to have a Java runtime, um, the way we are feeding the input files, how are we sending our binary data to that Java executable, how are we signing, how are we encrypting, decrypting. If any of those activities failed and the user got a very nasty experience, then it will be incumbent upon us to ensure that we handle the errors correctly for user experience. But beyond that, then we need to ask ourselves what went wrong. So ideally, we had to engineer a way of maintaining logs and ensuring that for each log, uh, we are maintaining a timestamp text of that particular event that occurred or error. Even if it was a success, we ensure that we have a success message to show that this step actually executed properly. So with logs, it becomes very easy for you to have visibility of all the processes uh, within your system or your PC, um, or any other digital kind of framework or platform you're operating within. So that brings us to a point where we want to communicate about the importance of logs. And by the way, I'm still maintaining those logs. The way we do it, you generate and then you let the logs sit in your own server for about a day. After that, you're able now to transition them to a network attached storage or any other remote secure storage, so that you don't clog up your system. So you can imagine if we are using a digital signature facility, how many users in an enterprise environment are signing documents within a workflow. Those are many logs. So later on, we will discuss the practice of maintaining logs, securing them, and ensuring they also do not impact on your system. But that said, let us discuss about the importance of log monitoring in a SOC. Basically, we're talking about cybersecurity. And we said in a tier one kind of SOC, then that is why you do triage. As I said, that is where you gather as much context as possible, and then you can cascade it down to the guys who are doing investigations, up to the guys who are doing the threat hunting. Now, um, the the first thing I would want to mention about uh, monitoring logs is number one, they will help you maintain visibility and context. As I said, when you're doing triage, context is everything. To that end, logs provide context by showing what really happened. I mean, when it happened, how it was executed, all that will be found within logs if they are properly maintained. The visibility is essential in distinguishing normal behavior from anomalies. For example, even an unexpected privilege escalation in a Windows system, a log can point to lateral movement by an attacker. So that is one scenario. And um, later on, we will speak about the logs that are maintained by Windows, even the event manager. We will speak about all that. Then, after mentioning context and visibility, number two is incident detection and response. Automated alerts from a CM, as we mentioned in when we were just talking about tooling. CM is a security information and event management platform. So automated alerts from a CM platform often originate from a suspicious pattern of logs. You see, that is, I mean, a very critical functionality and reason why you should maintain and monitor logs. So alerts will, I mean, will enable SOC analysts to try and narrow down where the incident is coming from. So the other reason, number three, for monitoring logs is audit and compliance. Logs are often the first place an auditor will check to confirm whether security controls are in place and functioning as intended. So you see, so it's very critical. If your organization is keen on ISO certification, you do your BCMS, you do your you have a data loss prevention policy, all those elements with regards to audit and compliance, then you have no choice but to maintain and organize, classify your logs appropriately. And we could go on and say that many regulatory frameworks, such as the payment card industry, HIPAA, ISO 27001, mandates log retention and regular review. Because, as we said, if you do not have any logs, there's no way you're gonna say that you have visibility of your system. Yeah, conclusively, you can't make that argument conclusively. So by monitoring logs, organizations ensure that they meet compliance requirements and provide and produce clear and clear audit trails during investigations or audits. Number four, logs will greatly assist you in threat hunting. So beyond detection, logs form the basis of proactive threat hunting. An analyst will look for unusual patterns like execution of, say, PowerShell scripts in an environment where PowerShell usage is rare. Talk of where you have your production environment. Usually, in a production environment, you won't be running scripts every now and then. So you are able now to try to look at if you see there was this kind of event or activity, then you know probably there's a stealth attack that's happening. Trying to use very legitimate tools to probably escalate privilege or exfiltrate data. So by analyzing logs over time, threat hunters can identify trends and adversarial tactics. So finally, number five, The reason as to why we need to monitor logs is for forensic investigations. When incidents occur, so remember you're doing forensics after it's a response. You're trying to piece together what happened before you got to that point. So when incidents occur, well-structured logs are the key to forensic investigations. They will help create a timeline of an attack. They will show which systems were accessed and highlight the data that was exfiltrated. Detailed logs of a user action, network connectivity, those kind of things. And properly maintained logs will be the difference between letting a malicious actor off the hook or ensuring that you have seen the loophole that was used and remediate accordingly. If it's a patch you need to do, you'll get to know from the logs. You'll try to piece together and later on we'll discuss the anti-forensics techniques that could be used by threat actors, because as much as logs or probably even system logs, as much as they will tell you so much, there will be clever actors who will ensure that as much as they have the system has created logs, those logs have been deleted. So it is also it will call for some very serious measures to counter some of those anti-forensics investigation. But you will always, even if something was deleted, there should be a way of telling you that there was a file like this which was opened and modified, but you can't see it. See? So you try now to see how you can carve the try to carve the files out of the unallocated space or something. But those are forensic concepts that we will delve into at a later juncture. So today I just wanted us to have a look at the importance of monitoring logs. So just to recap, we gave 5 reasons. Number 1 is maintaining visibility and helping you maintain context as much as possible. Have a context of what is happening around the system. So significantly, you'll have very good visibility of your system, what's happening. So number 2, we talked about incidents detection and response. Number 3, we talked about audit and compliance. And number 4, we spoke about threat hunting, and finally forensic investigation. So with that, till next time, let's meet and speak about issues to do with cybersecurity and security in general with regards to information systems. So thank you. This has been my time. Francis Mwangi here. Always a pleasure.